Alright guys, moving on. The second thing we're going to show you is how to make a product that we came up with called BioFire. Matt already kind of zoomed in on this stuff, so I'm going to show you this was the first generation of BioFire. This was 100% all natural BioFire. And this is what the first generation looked like. It is just simple.
Might be a little bit funky. Might get a different angle. There we go.
It's just a simple cotton pad that's used for removing makeup, and you can get a package of these for 99 cents at the dollar store, Dollar Tree. And as you can see, we dipped these in wax and we left a part of it unwaxed, and this is where you would light it. Okay, this was the first generation. We went through some trial and error.
If you were going to use a spark.
A spark to light it. Yeah, you would light it from there.
Use that.
So this was the first generation. We went through some trial and error on this. It sold really well, but we decided we were going to update it and we were going to go a little bit away from the natural product. Second generation. These are actually the BioFire pucks. As you can see, there are about 5 of these cotton pads. And we dipped them all together so they came out as one single coagulated puck. Now with this, you could take your fingernail and you could scrape into that, or you could use a pocket knife and you could scrape into it, and you could expose some of this fibrous cotton, and you could spark that, or you could light it with a match and light it with a lighter. It was very easy to use, and because it's just made from wax, these things burn for like 5 hours. Then this is, I guess this would be generation 3. Oh, and they smell good. This one, as opposed to the second generation, which you can see they're not as pliable and they kind of hard. Yeah, they're kind of hard. These are a little bit more pliable. The wax is a little bit more supple, and they're a whole lot easier to light, and they burn a whole lot longer, and they burn a whole lot harder. The reason for that is the material we made them with. This was your simple, basic, run-of-the-mill 3-wick candle. Any guy out there who's married or living with a woman who has a lot of candles knows what these are. You're probably haunted in your dreams by them. These candles run about $5, and what you do with this is you put it in a pot like this, and you melt it down. This pot is the 3rd generation of wax for this product, and what it is one of these 3-wick candles and 2 jars of petroleum jelly mixed together. So you melt the wax down, then you add the petroleum jelly to it while it's melted, stir it up good. Then you're going to take something like these tongs here, and you're going to grab that and you're going to let it fly into there, and once it gets saturated you're going to pull it back out, and you're going to set it on some wax paper and let it set until it dries. Once it dries, wherever you hit it, it's going to spark. Now for the 3rd generation ones, the best way that we found to get them to light with a spark is to break it up to where you see those fibers. And once you see those fibers, that's what you're going to aim your spark for. You're going to hit those fibers and it's going to take off like a rocket and just start burning. As you can see from all of these trial and errors, we went through a lot of testing on this stuff. This one, I don't know if Matt remembers this, but we actually tried to impregnate these things with magnesium to get them to light a little better. Yeah, well that wasn't a...
Yeah, it didn't really...
Magnesium does this thing in melted wax where it likes to float. If it was magnesium powder and we put it in there, not quite sure how that would work out, but first generation was made all natural.
Did you use beeswax, I think, on the original?
Made out of beeswax, and one of the reasons that we made it out of beeswax was we figured if you were in the sticks and you had nothing else to eat, you could eat that cotton with beeswax. Might bind you up a little bit though. So then we decided that, ooh, having that sit in there with all those candles,
It's a little contaminated.
took on the taste of the other wax. Hey, but it's still edible.
Does it taste as pretty as it smells?
No. Yeah, so we have the BioFire Puck, 3rd generation BioFire. And these things, I mean, they really do smell good because they're going to take on the scent of whatever the candle is that you're going to use. And
keep a couple in your car. They almost work like one of those air fresheners.
Exactly.
Got a couple in my Jeep on the dashboard sometimes. And
put a couple in your sock drawer.
There you go.
And then if you need to, you just pull it out and spark it up to start a fire. So
now in the dark, don't mistake your socks for BioFire and burn all your socks.
Yeah, exactly. So to go over this again, the ingredients you'll need to make BioFire: a 3-wick candle, a pot for melting the wax, your cotton rounds, and 2 jars of petroleum jelly. And it's really easy. And don't forget your wax paper to put them on to dry. And that's about it for the BioFire. And I think I'm going to take the camera from Matt here in a second. He's going to show you something that he did with one of his cold steel knives. And we hope that you guys will go out and do this for yourselves. Make some of these for your kit. They're really easy to do. If you have kids that you can trust around hot wax, one of the tips, I melt this wax in this pot directly on the flame. I'll just set it right here on the flame and get it melted down, and then once it's melted completely, I'll turn the flame down really low, and then I'll stand here and I'll dip, and then I'll transfer them. I'll put a cookie sheet over here with a wax paper. I'll transfer them over, and then I'll just set them on there. And one of these candles, one of these 3-wick candles, will give you, I'd say, about 250 to 300 of these things. There's how many of these are in a pack?
Is there a specific count?
There's 80 of these. Well, there's 80 of these in a pack.
Okay.
And I would say there's probably going to be 3 of these packs that you'll go through off one of these candles. So 80 times 3, 240,
240.
right? So we are smart here.
I was told there'd be no math.
Yeah, well, somebody liked you. But that's the basic premise behind BioFire, and you've seen all these other products out on the web.
Coglins.
Yeah, Coglins. We did a demo video where we put one of these, Generation 1,
the 1st generation,
against the Coglins that was supposed to burn like, what, 7 to 10 minutes, I think they said on their packaging. We put it up against the Coglins, and it was the first time we actually tested the BioFire, and the Coglins did not meet the 7 to 10 minute mark.
It seems like I recall the Coglins just about met what it advertised, but BioFire still outdid it, which
by about 4 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Check out the video. It's on YouTube. We'll put a link to it on the N.S.S page, and you can watch it again. I'm not quite sure what the time difference was, but we beat the Coglins.
It was significant time difference,
and
like
with
double.
These, and even with the Generation 3 with the petroleum jelly in them, we don't leave that crap on your fingers that the Coglins did. Hey, say the Coglins isn't bad because, you know, if you're in a pinch, use what you got to use.
And I'll speak up for a second.
I took a hike a while back, man, probably about a year or 2 ago now, a year and a half maybe. I took a hike on a rainy morning down from where I live down to the beach. It's about a 7-mile hike down the canyon. It had been raining when I left. When I stepped off on the hike, when I got to the beach, everything was still soaking wet, and there was a lot of downed palm branches and stuff. A lot of it is real porous and fibrous. It was all soaked like sponges. You could wring it out. I made a pile of all that wet stuff and just a little bit of my dry tinder and a BioFire that I had with me. Lit one BioFire, stuck it up underneath all that wet stuff, and the BioFire burned long enough, even after I lit the little bit of dry tinder I had with me on top of it. The BioFire kept burning after my piece of dry tinder had burned out. And it still burned long enough and got all that wet stuff burning, and then I had a pretty good little fire going down at the little fire pit in the beach, and I was amazed. And I mean, I think without BioFire I would have had a heck of a time trying to get all that wet stuff to burn. So I mean, I've used. I hope some of you have gotten some and used it yourself and can also back up what we're saying here. And that was actually my first time really trying to biofire with wet stuff. I mean, we'd used it on a couple of camping trips already with dry stuff that we knew was going to light. But so this stuff, it's worth taking your time to make some of your own, and I think you'll get a real kick out of using it.
Cool, cool. As we pass the camera back, for those of you who, we get a lot of emails from people who are like, where can we buy this stuff? We've told other people that have asked, where can we buy this, that, hang on, we're going to do a video, we're going to tell you guys how to make it, and people are like, I don't even want to deal with making it, I don't want to take the time to buy all the stuff to make this and everything. So for those of you who want to buy it, the only place you can buy it is, actually the only two places you can buy it is Ojai Valley Surplus in Ojai, California. And you can maybe order it from them via the web. You can buy it from Battlefield Adventures in Ventura. You can go see Mike, Josh, or John in there, and they've got a supply of them. Or you can, third place, you can purchase them off of our internet website, www.newsurvivalskills.com. You can go there, click buy it, and I will ship you a package of Generation 3 BioFire.
You know what I would suggest too, though? I mean, some people might not want to just do this on their own, just cause. But man, rainy day after, of course we're going into the summertime, we're not going to eat it too much, but yeah. rainy day activity with the kids, if you got kids at home and they're bored out of their mind, they're driving you crazy, get some of this stuff and do that with your kid. You know how much kids love melting wax and playing with anything like that. Do this with your kids, they'll probably have a blast.
If you don't have one of these candles, or you don't have candles, like let's say you burned all your candles down, you're married, you got a girlfriend, whatever, or maybe you're a guy who enjoys candles, I do. Doesn't mean I'm less manly. I just like things that smell good. If you burn down candles and you're left with that residual wax, pile it all into this, or into your pot, melt it down, and go from there. If you've got kids who've busted all their crayons, take their crayons, melt them down, add a little petroleum jelly to it. There you go. Make it up on your own. So those are the two products that...
Got a bunch of used Q-tips that you didn't throw away yet?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if we brainstorm long enough,
I saw that episode of Mythbusters and it stunk to high heaven.
Yeah,
so
used Q-tips, that'd be pretty nasty, but I'm going to go ahead and take the camera from Matt here in a minute, and he's going to show you his cold steel deal that he's got going on.